Hello and cheers to each of you. How important and even life-changing would it be to think, speak, lead, and follow in kindness? Wow. So that's what the focus of the podcast is today, as the Business of Life Podcast episode is focused on kindness and its impact on each of us. Hi again, everyone. It's Debbie Lundberg, performance coach, remote work rockstar author, and the founder and CEO of Presenting Powerfully.
Barb Zant here, corporate sales leader, founder of the lifestyle brand, The Stay at Work Mom, and fashion stylist. The topic is very universal today, Debbie. We both value courtesy and compassion and awareness and certainly kindness. So this is exciting and important for sharing our guests with our listeners today. Who is our guest, Debbie?
Oh, Barb, it's exciting. Our guest is a full-on kindness nerd. Her words, not mine, kindness nerd. She researches, writes about it, talks about it, seeks it out in unexpected places. Therefore, she is living it, sharing it, and putting it to work. And she knows we can put kindness into motion to make the big world we share even better. She's so many things, and a few of them. She's the chief experience architect. Let me say that again, chief experience architect at Red Hat, cultivating connection and trusted partnerships between people that foster collaboration, innovation, and successful implementation and adoption strategies for open source software in the major global banks who entrust her and Red Hat with their business. So she's got all this amazing business expertise. And what is she bringing to it? Kindness, of course. At the same time, she's the founder of Cool Audrey, creating a central hub and foundation for business that's all about kindness. It's chock full of research data, science, stories from the field. She works to educate and inspire companies to develop kindness as a core competency to put it to work in their business through every fiber of the organization, not simply a competency, but part of that fiber. So when you're not listening to our show, folks out there, Barb, you and I, we can all catch her on her show, Kindness Think Tank, and Little Shots of Kindness, for these feel-good vibes about hardcore data that will inspire us to change our business. So please welcome a guest, someone who is contributing to the compilation book, Living Kindly, along with me, Cole Baker-Bagwell.
Hi, it's great to be here today with you too. It's great. Man, what an introduction. Thank you so much, Debbie. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We are so glad to have you here today. And one of the reasons we asked you on is because you are an expert in human interaction regarding kindness. And the reason that's so important is because we all feel it, we need it, especially right now. I love that kindness is trending. Glad you're here. In 10 words or less, what made you want to be on our show specifically?
I think I love the questions that you ask of all the same guests.
All right.
Right? So 10 words or less, I think I did it. Did I do it?
I did.
Okay, good.
I'd say that you did it. I don't want to say the best. You did it one of the best, though, of anybody who's ever answered it. So thank you.
Okay, good. We're off to a great start already. That's awesome.
Yes. So we really appreciate it. We love that you have listened to the show, and we certainly appreciate it. So the same 4 questions, right? We're moving on to them. Cole, you laid the groundwork perfectly. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right. So our listeners know, and Cole, you may already know this too, Barb takes a lot of notes. She gives us challenges. So if you happen to notice that, she's jotting away. It's no surprise. So number 1, Cole, what time do you get up in the morning? And what is your daily routine to get your day started right for you?
Okay. I usually get up by 6:30 every morning. My daily routine, first thing I do is I say a prayer of gratitude. I write in my journal for about 20 minutes or so, and then I meditate. Then I drink coffee, and then I am usually out walking the dogs, and all of that happens before I do anything with my technology. So inside first before I meet the outside world.
Ooh, all right. Inside out, as we often think about how people approach life and the beauty of life. All right. So number 2, what is something other than that very informative and very centering, it sounds like, morning routine that you believe if other people would do it, it would set them up for success? We tend to think of this as extra oomph. What would that be?
I think it's just analyzing at the beginning of your day, who am I serving? What am I going to do? And then why will it matter for them? So looking at the bigger world outside of yourself, and then it allows you, me personally, even on days where my energy might be a little lower, to go out and really contribute to the good of the whole.
Ah, and surely you do that at both Red Hat and Cool Audrey. So more to
Try.
follow.
I try.
Number 3, who or what has been your biggest influence on your life, your success, and your continued focus on making your life all about kindness? And importantly, what have you done with that influence?
Yeah, so thank you. That's my favorite question out of all of them. So it's not a who, it's a what. 27 years ago, I learned I walked into my first yoga class. And in my first yoga class, my teacher was so wise. She said, yoga is great, but mindfulness is going to change your life. And so she taught me how to meditate. She taught me how to not only meditate while sitting on a mat, but how to practically apply that in my day. And from the time, 27 years, it's been a long time ago, Debbie. That has been the thing that has changed my life circumstances most dramatically. And by that, I mean, I've been through divorce, had a baby. I've, switched careers. I've reinvented myself. I have figured out, what was blocking me in the early part of my life, like when I was in my 20s compared to now when, I'm only in my 30s. No, just kidding. But the things that, were kind of holding me back then. And I really realized that now, if I could have let go of some of my ego, if I could have let go of some of my agenda, or let go of some of my need to live into somebody else's narrative that they had written for me, that I would have been a lot more empowered back then, and maybe, potentially even happier back then. So meditation and mindfulness is the thing that has served me best and been the greatest influence. And the way that I take that forward is, a few years ago, I got this crazy idea. I was in a boardroom, conference room on Wall Street. And I've told this story a couple of times, that the folks came in and everybody just sort of looked exhausted. And they looked like saw all of their machines. I saw everything in front of them, but they weren't really there. They weren't all there, body, mind, and soul. So I asked them to breathe with me. And I took 2 to 3 minutes and we did some guided centering. That's what I called it. Because if you use meditation in a setting like that, people sort of flip out. So we called it guided centering, but I had them breathing in and out of their noses. And then when they opened their eyes, what happened was I looked around the room and there were a couple of men with tears just flowing down their faces. I asked them why, after we finished meeting, I said, were you okay? And they said, we don't remember the last time that we were still, or that we could just sit and breathe. And so in that room that day, what happened was everybody sort of unfolded and they connected with one another. And I believe that, we have that possibility for the world. It is a form of kindness to respond instead of to react. And so if we can cultivate this sense of mindful awareness, we're better positioned to do that. So I bring that through all of the work that I do, whether it's with Cool Audrey or with Red Hat. It's a common denominator for my work, because I think that it makes all of us a little bit happier and better.
Mindfulness, the meditation, what a wonderful way to think of it. And I've gotten to hear you say that story or tell that story before, but I picked up on a few more thoughts on that. So thank you for sharing. And certainly our listeners may be pausing right now to think about their breathing and being still. So thanks. All right. Wonderful lead into our 4th question. And while our series and ultimately our master class focuses on the positive and certainly how to move forward in life, much of what you've shared on how you've had a journey, we also love to hear from you, Cole. What's something that from your observations, experience, and expertise, what have you noticed people doing that you feel like if they would stop doing it, it would change things positively?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me that comes up is ego. So I think, and we've seen it a lot in the last year, or maybe we've just become more aware of it because of the media, and we were all home and captive audience. But the ego that we carry around, the need to be right, the need to, not show ourselves and be ever wrong. that is one of those things that gets in the way. I call these things the evil three. So it's ego, agenda, and bias. And for me, those things, when they show up, they actually prevent people from connecting with the best parts of themselves and then with each other. It's almost as if you're throwing up like this giant stone wall, you know, in front of you and the person that you're trying to interact with. So to me, it's leveling that, quite literally leveling that, and becoming aware of, you know, when it's showing up for you, and then trying to switch gears and operate from a place of objectivity. So, I mean, I just look across the landscape of everything, whether it's, you know, religious beliefs, politics, racism, you know, gender, bias, whatever it is, if we could just let that go and see one another as, you know, another human being with something that we could maybe learn something from them, could share something with them, or, you know, maybe at worst we disagree, but we do it without harming that other person. I think that's the, you know, the hugest road forward for all of us.
So true. And thank you for sharing that. It reminds me a lot of different words, but I get to share a lot. And Barb and I talk about this too, is like, get away from that vanity and get away from the self-destruction of being defensive. And you highlighted it beautifully with your three. So thank you so much. I see Barb smiling and I'm sure she's got some ideas. So Barb.
All right, Barb, let's go.
Well, just listening to you speak, you have such a calming voice. And so it was calming. And I wrote down a few inspirational notes for myself that I would like to do. And I know, Debbie, you probably might have the same things or maybe a little bit different, but the whole inside out, I love looking at it just a little bit different. So I'm going to take a crack at that. The evil three, absolutely something, and just being still and meditating. So Debbie, are you willing to get with me next week and try out some of the things that Cole talked about?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'd love it. And we may do this offline and we'll put it in a note or something, but we'll get a meditation or some direction on that so that Barb and I can challenge ourselves with a new form of meditation, which will be great. So of course, absolutely. All right. So I'll set with that. Cole, it was so information rich. We really appreciate that. And if since you were so great with the 10 words or less, are there 10 words or less you'd like to share on a final thought?
The future is kind, everybody.
Oh, thank you. What a wonderful way to close it. Thank you again, Cole. Please know, listeners, certainly you want more of this calming, centering, focused self of Cole and soul of Cole. So you can stay connected to her at Cole Baker-Bagwell and all social media. And when you see her everywhere, Cool Audrey is another one. That's her company and her website. And please pay attention to those podcasts that she has, the Kindness Think Tank. So similarly, if you'd like to stay in touch with us, you can follow Barb and me on Instagram at the Business of Life Masterclass, Barb at the Stay at Work Mom, and I'm Debbie Lundberg most everywhere. We pride ourselves in bringing you 5-star guests like Cole was today, who bring insights and share inspiration. So if you like it, please rate us the same as those 5 stars. If you have somebody you would love to hear from, please let us know.
So thank you so much. Stay tuned for our follow through with Cole, which will be in 5 or 10 days, and listen to how Debbie and I implement it and possibly do a motivational meditation. So thank you for joining us today, the podcast for successful people embracing every chance to accomplish and experience all they can in business and in life. Thank you. Listen, choose, do.
Thank you.